Gonna hit video now.
Okay. First step will be to delineate any marks or areas of pressure, like a fourth metatarsal or a first metatarsal. And place the foot down on the paper. One shot. Lean forward with your weight on your foot. Take a pen, holding it vertical, draw around the perimeter of the foot as such. Okay, pick up the foot. All right, so we would have those two spots. We're going to wipe off the footprints right down. And then we will put the foot back down on the paper. And then we're going to measure the foot. Now, if thick socks are to be worn, the measurement should be taken with thick socks. But I'm not putting socks on. If they're thin socks, it doesn't matter. And I'm not putting socks on now so that the anatomy can be seen. The first measurement will be around the toes. See the toes? Here's the ball of the foot, here are the toes. You don't pull the tape measure tight, you leave it kind of loose. We're doing it in metric. I'm going to let that out a little bit because we like to have a little toe room. And I'm going to write down on the measurement, on the outline, 23. And mark it on each side. Lift up the ball of your foot. The second measurement is going to be the widest portion of the foot, the ball of the foot, across the big toe joint and the small toe joint, right here. You feel the bone. I'm not going to pull it too snug. And that measurement, we're going to mark over here on each side. You can see is 24. The third measurement is in what we call the waist. It's just behind these two bones, around the middle of the foot here. It's not high, but it's right behind the ball of the foot. I'm going to measure that at 23 and mark that on each side of the outline. Next measurement is the instep, kind of where the first eyelet would be on a shoe, or the middle of the high point of the arch. Right there. It's not quite into here, and it's not down that low, but it's about right there. And you can see that comes to 23.5. And I'm looking straight down like this at an angle. And I wrote that on this side. The next measurement is from the heel, where it touches the ground, to the front, where the leg and the foot meet. That says 32. I have a delineation right here for the heel measurement, and I will put 32. That should do it for a low shoe. For a high shoe, we will do it once up around the area where the leg gets thin above the ankles, and that is at about 10 centimeters, and that is measured at 23. For boots, we measure up the leg. I don't think that will be indicated. Pick up your foot. This is what the footprints should look like. Just to make this more delineated, this is the ball measurement. These are the toe measurements. This is the waist measurement, the instep measurement, and then the heel and the ankle measurement. The ankle measurement is at 10 centimeters. Do the same thing for the other foot. I'm not going to bother doing that right now. Now we're going to prepare the foot for casting. First step is to put on the nylon sock. Secondly, we'll put this plastic strip down the foot to protect the foot when we cut off this casting sock. Next step, we put a plastic bag on the foot. The nylon keeps the plastic bag from sticking to the skin. At this stage, it's important to put on the rubber gloves. And by the way, this casting material should never touch the skin because it's very, very sticky. It would be hard to pull off the skin. And we take a casting material. In this case, I'm going to use a small because her foot is small. That's for a size 4.5 to 4 to 5.5. They come in medium, large, and extra large. I unroll the casting sock out of the plastic. Unfold the sock. This stage, we have to have water, which I didn't mention earlier, but have a bucket of water. I open up the sock, just like you would a regular sock that you were going to put on. And then I dip it into a bucket of water. Leave it in there for about 4 or 5 seconds, that's all. Pour it out and squeeze out the water. Then I slip it on the foot just as I would a sock and pull it up. Try not to make it too tight over the toes. And then we put the foot on the casting platform. It's where we put the heel and the ball. And as you can see, there's a slight raise in the back, just like the heel would have, a little elevation. Put the ball right there, the heel right there. Don't press down, just let your foot relax. What I'm doing is I'm grabbing the leg and I'm pulling a little bit up on the leg, just to kind of, so the foot won't flatten out so much. I'm kind of opening up the joints a little bit. I'm doing that with my left hand. My right hand, I'm holding the ball of the foot and pressing the ball of the foot down into the foam. So what I'm trying to do is not let the heel sink in too much, but allow the ball of the foot to sink in. I want to get the knee at 90 degrees so the leg is vertical. The leg should be vertical. And then I have to hold this for about 4 or 5 minutes. You'll begin to feel the material bubble under your hand, and it'll warm up slightly as it's setting up. It's already starting to set up. I'm smoothing the material into the foot because that smooths out the chemical that's making this hard. Making sure there's no wrinkles in it. Let it sit up for a minute. And you can see the little piece of plastic, how it's delineated. You want to make sure you can see that when you're taking it off with the little scissors. Reaching under the toes and getting the material to get a good toe impression. Pushing it up into the arch a little bit. it's already starting to firm up. And I take small scissors like this and begin to snip the top. You don't want to have too many rolls at the top because then it's hard to cut through. It's not quite set up, but it's good enough for me to cut it. This little scissors, you go right down the plastic strip. It's hard to get around it. You squeeze it together, create a little gap. Tear the plastic bag. And pull out the foot. Voila. It's got a little heel elevation, and it'll get a little harder as it's setting up. Once you do one, then you do the other foot. That's good. Cut.